Yo, what is going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Erskmac, the mad scientist. Welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel, one of the hottest up-and-coming black comic book YouTube channels on this side of the Dakota-verse. Today, we got a very special guest. Today, we're talking about this man is a proprietor of a certain movement that is going on. You know, it started with Black History Month. Now it's Melanated March. And it's a hashtag called hashtag DC So White. And there's reasons behind that. But he's going to explain it today. He also has a YouTube channel called Jpenumbra and Comics Unmasked podcast. It's my man, Jpenumbra. What's going on with the partner?
What is up, brother? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Hey, man. Thanks for being part of the show, bro, man. So how you been, man? What's been going on with you? Because
I'm not gonna lie, man. I took a couple days this week to just like not do as much content and just read, because the hardest part about being a comic book content creator is that it feels like you're constantly just going and going, trying to keep up with the algorithm, and then sometimes you just forget that you need to actually read the books. So it definitely be that kind of situation where like I was prepping for a Cleveland Fan Expo this weekend because I'm gonna go like see a few celebrities, see some comic creators and whatnot. And I saw a name on the list that I hadn't seen in a few years, because back when Comics Unmasked was called Panel to Panel back before the pandemic, I had interviewed a young woman named Erica Schultz, and I saw she was going to be on the list for Cleveland Fan Expo, but I was like, I recognize that name. Why do I recognize that name? And I looked back through my stuff and I saw her name, and then I saw what she had been doing recently, and she had recently partnered with Todd McFarlane to basically do another volume of Spawn in the future called Rat City, which is basically like just like futuristic cyber Spawn, and it's so cool. I just like binged the like all 22 issues that just came out, so that has been really good. And it's just like, you got to make sure that you back up, remember why we do this, is reading the damn books.
Yes, absolutely, man. I feel you with that, because I put something on Threads like a few days ago. I said one of the things about being a comic book YouTube creator is that it's so many good books that's out there, so little time,
Very
and it
much
feels
so.
like you're missing out. And it's like, man, you got to read it and digest it and then talk about it. Sometimes you get overwhelmed, but you know the adage is quality over quantity. So you know when you put out quality content, people gonna keep coming out to you. So
Almost definitely.
yeah. So it's funny how me and you met. And so we met through Threads, and it really started. I think, you know what's funny? Me and you, I already subscribed to your channel before everything popped off.
Oh dang.
And yeah, it was Comics Unmasked. That's what I saw you, and then when I saw you on Threads, I was like, wait a minute, that cat look familiar. I'm like, wait a minute, let me follow him, and then that's when I found out you had two YouTube channels.
Yeah,
and
I'm trying to figure that out, because like we're trying to like do the live show on my main channel, but then have like the archive be that, because I didn't want the usernames to get taken over on social media, so I was like, I'm gonna figure this out.
For sure. I think indirectly there's a certain woodland creature that made some comments about Milestone, right?
Yes.
And it was really, I wouldn't even say controversial. It was just stupid. You know,
that's the best way to put it. Where it was just like I remember being up. It was funny. It was like Ernie Blur Without Fear's original video that he put on Threads talking about it. He had like mentioned me, and I was in shock, because like, brother, I had looked up to him for years. So when I saw like him mention me, I was like, huh? And that's how him and I linked up. But like, I originally was on Twitter basically like, yo, you ain't gotta be like, I basically just posted the Sam Wilson gif where it's like, he's out of line, but he's right in regards to the young man who called dude out in the first place and was like, hey, you're a ringtail, yada yada, why aren't you carrying my milestone? And I was just like, look, he's out of line, but he's right, because like, you out here being the most influential person out here in the game, and you're not talking about this, you're not educated on it, what's going on. And then he finally put out the videos, and I just kind of sat there like, ooh, this is about to get bad. This is about to get really bad. And that's why I kind of just made my big post on Threads where I was like, I am unsubscribing. I am unfollowing, because I'll be damned if I'm going to look up to somebody who acts as if they know so much about my culture, but then don't know a damn thing about my culture.
Yeah, I was like, man, it it hurt. I had inklings, I had feelings about it, right? And I was like, nah, it didn't really show yet. And then somebody asked the question on Black History Month. And so someone asked the question, and then when he answered, everybody was like, wait a minute, hold up. And then you could have just left it alone, but you doubled and you tripled and you quadrupled down. And now I'm like, damn, this man's a ringtail rascal. And
then like he had the gall to put out a video for the Dakota incident, and it was just like, man, you really chasing that bread, ain't you, dog? Like you really just be more about that bread than you are about just educating yourself. And then mid video, he was like, I like Icon, I love Icon so much. I'm like, I wonder why. Maybe you like somebody else that took a lot of inspiration from Icon. Like just a thought, maybe.
Yeah. And it almost like wasn't he was the one that said that it reminded him of Blue Marvel?
I don't remember if he said it in the video, but I blatantly put it on social media that like it's the same thing. Like legitimately it's the same character, just a different time periods. And the fact that you like him is very telling, because you very much seem like you down with them Black Republicans. And it is just like, well,
it was like so funny because I'm like, who the fuck say that? And then Ernie Town, he's like, you know who the fuck say that? I'll say, man, nah. I was just throwing grenades on the fire. That's basically what I was doing. But indirectly, I'm a very optimistic person, right?
Same.
And there's always a silver lining in a dark cloud. And the silver lining that I saw was that I found a lot of other Black comic book YouTube channels.
Most definitely.
I've been follow Comics Are Dope, but I found out about Dr. Kiori and I found out about Captain Diesel and those other two. And I knew about you prior to that. So it felt like it brought everybody together. And I've been following, Blur Without Fear, because I catch this stuff after I do my live shows on Saturday. And I'm like, wow, it's really bringing everybody together. And, we was bouncing off of ideas from each other. Then I know you guys had a live group chat like on YouTube. And I was beaming in on that, and just to see you guys like bouncing ideas from each other, I'm like, man, dang, we think very, very similar about what's going on. So
it sucks because like I very much was of the opinion that like the whole reason why I got big and started like getting known by a lot of folks was I put out a video like right before the beginning of the year where I was like, I ain't seen a Black book in a minute. I ain't seen a Black ongoing in a minute. And that's when I like looked at the data. I checked all my sources. A lot of people were like, what about Green Lantern War Journal? But when you look at the interviews that Philip Kennedy Johnson did, you look at different people that were saying different things. Originally, Google said it was a limited series, but then they keep like some sites kind of try to edit it and say it was an ongoing. But then you find out that it was always meant to be 12 issues, so it was a limited series. And then you look at the data, and it says over 1,000 days, and you're just kind of like, that's concerning. And even if you try to say, oh, well, no, War Journal did count, that's still almost 1,000 days in itself. So it's you sit there and you kind of like wonder, wow, this doesn't make any sense. And I like there was 2 videos that I made where it was the first one where it was like, look, Nicholas Draper Ivy just announced Batman Static Beyond. I'm pissed because all these fake Static fans, when I act like they actually care about Static, when all they want to do is be catered to with a TV show. So that's what kind of made me blow up from the first wave. Then the second wave was me going, hey, it's almost been 1,000 days, and people were like, huh? And then I even got a bunch of bigger creators involved in a giant video to send to DC. Shout out to Gunverse over on Instagram because he like reposted the campaign, and all these like folks try to come in and say I'm moving the goalpost and stuff like that. But it got to a point where I was just like, look, at the end of the day, this is a problem. And at the end of the day, it comes down to misinformation that DC has like pushed out. And I've tried to stress this too. I love DC.
Mm-hmm.
I love DC so much. I have like 2 Marvel posters on my wall and a Milestone poster. I want to get a really good DC poster, whether it be a Black Lightning or a John Stewart here soon. I've been like combing through eBay and whatnot. I love both of my children equally. I say I'm a bad parent because I love both my children equally. But it's
Yeah.
like, I hate the idea that these 2 publishers have been coasting on this idea that it's the Black fans' fault, when in reality is they have been lying perpetually to the fan base for years when it comes to promotion, when it comes
Yes.
to how the system works. And they want to like play in our face and be like, this is what need like this is the system and you got to play by it. And it's like, there's so much wrong with that system
Yeah. It's
that I
flawed.
once I sit down and explain it to people, they're like, huh, I see what you mean, because there was even one nice man over on Twitter, Bumpkins. He's like a white comic book content creator. He like at first when he was in my replies on Twitter, he was like, I don't think that's like that. I work with retailers. I sit in on retailer conferences. I don't think it's like that. And then I sat on like an hour long TikTok live with him when he was like, maybe you have a point. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And when it I did talk about it on Saturday Morning Comics last week. And because I went through the whole like website and like read it like word for word and explaining what exactly is going on.
I appreciate
Like
that, man.
and like check it, like to avoid the advertisement, that's really one of the main things, because it's like, okay, when the Dakota incident, that was us. Like that was us, that was the writers, that was the artists, that was the colorists, that was everybody that had something to do with that book or wanted that book to be successful. They advertised that book every day. And I, Joseph Illich, and he put out there like, look, I'm trying to get 100,000 copies. And it's almost like, for me, almost like every other day or every few days, like, hey, just a reminder, go pre-order that book. And obviously it became very successful. On to the second printing. The plan is to give it a third and fourth. like that's the plan, because I also said last week that the more printings that we get, there's potential for more variant covers that we get.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, you can go ahead and rack up on those. And also it lets DC know that we want milestone characters. Like obviously Static is like the flagship bearer for Milestone.
Right, he's the tentpole character for sure, yeah.
Exactly. So, but he opens up the window for someone else. Now, honestly, I would love a Rocket, story, because he holds people accountable. Like she's very matter of fact. Now that whole scene with Superboy, it's like, yeah, we can.
Oh yeah, she called Lex Luthor a bald ass fool to his face. So like, she don't play.
Not at all, at all. So, from the Dakota incident. And for you pointing it out, that it's been over 1,000 days since DC Comics had an ongoing series that featured a Black character. And there were people that was pointing out that, oh, well, what about Mr. Terrific Year One? And I'm like, well, that's a miniseries. And or what about some other Black books, or Green Lantern Corps, where John Stewart's not really the central focal point, but he's part of the book. And main one, the DC Power Company.
Yeah,
I'm still hot about that.
And you know what's so funny about Power Company? Like, genuinely, the Dakota incident was going to just be the Power Company again. Where like if you really read the writing on the wall when it comes to that same ending page for Power Company Recharged, where they're like, "We'll stay in touch. We ain't heard not a damn thing from you in a year. Static's back. Oh, well, if we wouldn't have promoted this book, we wasn't going to see Static ever again." Like, you can read the writing on the wall very easily that, like, if DC had got a big push from us from this, we were never going to see these characters again. And it's heartbreaking, because it's like, look, we want to see these characters, but with like the metaphor that I keep using is that y'all stack the deck so much against Black or just marginalized characters in general that it's like, how can we even begin to have this conversation when your system is so broken? Because it's so obvious that, and people like say, I mean specifically just like whale fans, like white fans in general, but no, it's the white whale fans, the fans that could, the Wednesday Warriors that could open they checkbook every week, go get the same Batman, Superman book every week, get the Amazing Spider-Man, and then We never see Jace Fox. We never see Miles Morales. We never see Jonathan Kent. We never see characters evolve because y'all sit there and still buy the same characters with the same 5 stories over and over again. But then DC's like, oh, well, these black books aren't selling, so obviously we're not going to give you more. And it's such a compelling conversation when you really think about it, because it leads into the conversation of how there's so many issues with the system, to where DC and Marvel subsequently are like, oh, well, this one black book that didn't sell well, that means you don't want black shit, period. And it's like, how did you reach that conclusion? Like, answer me this. How did you reach that conclusion? Because maybe there was a pandemic going on. Maybe we're in a financial struggle right now. Maybe, here's an idea. Maybe if you valued your digital sales or your trade sales more often, maybe you might see more traction there, because that static compact edition is flying off the shelves. So I don't know. It just feels very weird.
Now you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like another avenue they can take, which you did have this in your website, is enlist content creators, comic book content creators to
for sure
advertise. And I'm like, man, that is such a venom, because I use the example of Netflix and Blockbuster. Like, Netflix had an innovative idea to say, hey, we're going to stream movies. Oh, by the way, you can rent DVDs and you can mail them back. But I'm going to present this to Blockbuster. Blockbuster laughed in their face. Where's Blockbuster now? It's not.
You make a very you stand 10 toes down now, because if you look at social media right now, a lot of content creators are getting social media packages from DC about Vertigo right now. But then you look at what happened right before the FOC, the final order cutoff for the Dakota incident, and Joseph Village dropped the trailer that he paid for, and what dropped the same day as that trailer on Joe socials that happened on DC socials. Vertigo. But DC has been shelling out for more fans to be interested in Vertigo, because if you saw the article that Jim Lee had been interviewed over in Japan because over the conversation of manga versus comic books, and it's like he had the line where he said, oh, manga can have a whole story about cooking or other stuff, and it'd be interesting. And when you read the writing on the wall, you see that, oh, they're pushing Vertigo back out, that way they can reach the indie fans, the people who want non-superhero stories. So they're like, oh, this is very interesting. They can actually look into that kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of where that's at. So it's very much one of those situations of like, they were so hard pressed about one thing, they didn't even think to be like, oh, well, maybe we should care about this, but then want to still hold it to the same caliber of, oh, well, your sales didn't go that well. It's like, how are people going to know about it? You know,
bro,
it's crazy.
It is for them. They have zero excuse, because I have seen advertisements on TV. I watch AEW religiously every Wednesday. What do I see on the aprons on the side? It was DCKO. It was DC All In. It was I think it was Absolute Power. And I watched AEW Dynamite last night, and they talked about the AEW DC collab, because there's an AEW DC DC book crossover event, right? I was like, wait a minute.
The second issue just came out yesterday.
Exactly. So I'm like, wait a minute. You could easily do the Dakota incident. That's easy, because Swerve came out as static on one of the pay-per-views.
Swerve has a Nicholas Draper Ivy cover for the second printing of Batman Saturday and Beyond.
Yes. So I'm like, man. Oh, yeah, by the way, shout out to my homeboy Will, because Will has that cover, and he was showing it and bragging about it to me. And I was like, you know that meme with the little boy? He like, congratulations. Nice. Because I wanted that cover. But yeah, because we seen advertising. We've seen DC put forth effort in the projects that they want to put their effort in.
Oh, yeah.
And also the thing that kind of made us jump back on DC is that they took credit for it. They was like, yo, because of what y'all did, we're going to do a second print. And it was like, you didn't do anything.
It sucks, because that's why I've been struggling with trying to walk this tightrope of like, I don't want to throw too much shade at DC and like get blacklisted. I don't want to have any problems, because like, look, I understand the situation that you're in. Y'all, and like, I think it was Morgan Hampton said it perfectly in the interview that I did with him, where it's like, I don't think DC is doing this maliciously. They're not doing this with like someone even came like in my DMs and was like, "Do you think Scott Snyder is racist?" I'm like, "No, no. It's like Scott Snyder is tired. That white man is the most tired person in the industry because all that dude does is work. Like genuinely, I saw bags under his eyes 10 years ago at Cincinnati Comic Expo. I see the same bags under his eyes now because all that dude does is work. So it's like when people say stuff like that, it makes me go, "Wow, you genuinely don't understand the situation." It's just they see money coming out of like everyone's ears over Absolute Batman. Obviously, they're going to direct their attention to Absolute Batman, but then they don't fully have an understanding that their system is broken. So that when they see us going, "Hey, red alert! There's no black content," they're like, "Well, we tried that." They're like, "We're like, no, you didn't. You didn't actually really try that." And it's like, wait, really? We didn't try that? It's like, yeah, you really didn't try that. And we had to have this like adult conversation and be as respectful as possible because the one thing that I was told is like, you're not lying, you're not saying anything malicious, you're stating the truth. And it's like they can't run from the truth is what
Yeah.
really comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you said Scott Snyder, I'm like, yeah, that man is hard charging it, man. I mean, because I talked about it at the beginning of this year that DC, as far as top 10 like books being sought after, DC pretty much took over that list.
Oh yeah.
With a sprinkle of Image Comics, maybe one Marvel book. But it like when that Absolute Universe took over, it's like it was a wrap. But yeah, so Scott Snyder is hard charging it, and he should. And to call him racist is crazy, especially with that annual Absolute Batman annual that he put out.
Because why would he allow Daniel Warren Johnson to walk in the room and do that with his book? Like, why would he create Duke Thomas? Why would he bring in someone like Shay Grayson to co-write Absolute Catwoman with him if he didn't care about black folks? It's that he's limited on the time that he is allotted, so he's doing what he can to change the industry with the time that he has. That's what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually touched on sales too. Like, you know, I want you to expand on what can DC do to give a better understanding to the consumer on how the sales work and how we can get the books that we want.
So, like, I'm gonna drop this in the chat. There's this great website called comiccron.com from like it's not as active as it used to be. It has all the sales from like 2025 backwards or like 2024 backwards because Diamond was still in charge of the sales charts. Because back when we were all under a monopoly, which everyone forgets about, we had the ability to have one company release the sales charts for everything, and it made it very apparent of who was doing what and what books were selling, but we don't really have that transparency anymore. Like ICV2 tries because like half the country uses Comic Hub for their sales tracking, but not everyone does. But when it comes to the entire system, how comic books work that a lot of folks don't fully understand is that your comic book store is the one who is in charge of what sells, like what is the sales, because you're like they're essentially buying the drugs from the drug dealer, and then like you're paying them back for what they invested in the sale. So like say if I'm a comic book store owner and I buy like 3 copies of the Dakota Incident and 50 copies of Batman for my store, that means that's what the sale is, not what like you bought from like the store. It's what I bought as the comic store owner. And though I've had to like reframe how I explain it to people because someone even asked me, they're like, does that mean back issues? Or like the books that don't sell off the shelf that end up in back issue bins, does that mean those are sales too? It's like, yeah, because that's the system that we live in where like unless you pre-order a book, these systems are not in place to where your dollar counts. Your dollar only counts when it comes to the sales metrics when you actively pre-order and tell a shop you want a copy of that. Because and so, I think it was Comic Concierge over on TikTok. He made a post on Threads where he was like, look, it doesn't mean that your sale doesn't track. Your sale has been counted because the comic store bought it. But at the same time, yeah, that's true. But think about all the books that like Black Lightning, Mr. Terrific Year One, all these different books that could have sold more if comic book stores hadn't have been under the impression that black fans didn't want it because they didn't see anybody coming into the store. That's what the issue is, because a perfect example is Mr. Terrific Year One. I interviewed the writer Al Letson last year. He's a decorated, award-winning journalist, and he put it very plainly. He's like, look, the system is broken to where it's like, yo, a comic store didn't have the perception that Michael Holt was going to be the biggest splash character out of the Superman movie. They saw he was going to be a part of the Superman movie. So they knew he was going to get a miniseries, but they knew it was probably not going to sell well because traditionally black fans don't come into comic shops. But it's like, I can understand that perception, but the minute that movie came out, everybody and their mama wanted a copy of that book. So it's like, it's a system where you kind of have to navigate that as a comic store owner. And I don't envy it at all, because it's a very complicated business where you're putting your entire livelihood on the line every week when it comes to these books.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when Mr. Terrific Year One came out, I know I did on my end, I did my due diligence, and I know you did too. And because I had, especially like anytime Mr. Terrific issue came out, Year One, I covered each issue and I put it on the playlist. I did the same thing with Dr. Voodoo. It didn't come out recently, but when he was Sorcerer Supreme, I covered that because fans voted for that. I did like a fan vote. So, and what was funny about it is that, you know, I don't want to like out the comic book store because I love that store. They always do the day before what comics are coming out, and I walk in and you say, well, we're gonna have plenty of Mr. Terrific. You know, you don't got to worry about that. You know, that kind of thing. But it was like the energy behind it. But I know where they come from. They didn't mean it in a malicious way. It's just that it's like you don't have to worry about that, like not getting your hands on it, that kind of thing. And I was like, you know, that kind of hit me a little bit. Because people do bang Mr. Terrific. Now, they damn sure was getting no variant covers. Like, I couldn't find them joints. I got them, but I couldn't find no extras.
I tell this story a lot because it helps me drive the point home that this issue is very important, because there's this thing that exists in comic books that you can pull up on League of Comic Geeks right now if you're really curious about it, where it's like incentive covers, where you'll have a thing that goes on where comic stores have to buy a certain number of the cover A, the main cover, to be eligible for one copy of the variant cover. And this Dennis Cowan, legend, milestone founder, Dennis Cowan
what I got
cover,
right there.
I went to 8 different comic stores and 3 different conventions looking for this thing. Couldn't find it. I complained offhandedly during the interview with Al Letson, and he was like, "What's your address?" Because that's the issue, is that I will be always so thankful for this book because it meant the world to me. That, like, especially with him being a decorated journalist and me seeing myself as a journalist, that felt like the ultimate passing of a torch for, like, in a way where it's like, we're gonna keep moving, we're gonna keep doing better, because that's the issue that we deal with, where it's like some fans are never gonna get their hands on that thing. Like, I remember being on eBay and seeing like 1 or 2 listings for that cover, and that's it. So it's like, when we are in a coveted group of individuals that are lucky enough to have that cover, where some fans are never going to see that cover in their life. They will never have a piece of amazing history from a decorated artist. So it's like, that's the issue that we deal with, where some fans are just missing out on material because DC and Marvel aren't promoting it. They're not telling people, and it's like, look, the system is broken. You need to fix it, instead of being complacent.
Exactly. You know, I met Dennis at a convention last year, and I did get my hands on that cover. It's just behind the static stuff back here.
Gotcha.
And he signed all 3 of them joints. So I'm like, hey man, listen, I got all these. Can you? And I met him and his sister, and I'm like, can you please sign this and witness? Look at these. These ain't getting sold worth of crap. I'm telling you right now. I ain't selling these. They just got to be right here to let people know, like, yo, Dennis saw that.
Man, no, it's so funny. Like, I remember going to one of the conventions that I was looking for that cover at. I was looking for Mr. Terrific's first appearance, and like all these like comic shop booth people were like, "Are you gonna resell it?" I'm like, "No, I want that for me, motherfucker. I don't want to do nothing with that. That's for me."
Yeah, ain't no reselling on Milestone. You can cut that short.
No, sir.
Milestone, Mr. Terrific, anything Dennis Cowan touches. Like I'm nah.
Like
Nah, we ain't
Dennis
getting
is
rid
my
of that.
favorite artist of all time, like hands down. There is only one artist that I will ever say that comes close to Dennis Cowan in terms of artwork, and that is Sanford Green.
I
And
know you about to say it. I
a
knew you
perfect
about to say
example
it.
is what Sanford like, because I very much hold Dennis in like a coveted position where like you just can't touch him. Like his Nightwing
Yeah.
issues, I'm gonna be grabbing those. Those are for me. But like he's up on that pedestal where I don't need to glaze him. But like
Yeah.
he's reached that precipice where he's just there. You can't touch him. But then you look at someone like Sanford Green, where he dropped a banger today, and I sat
Oh
there like, this man can't miss.
man,
This
listen.
man cannot miss. And I'm
Listen.
so mad because this Spider-Man Superman cover is an exclusive to his website. And I'm like, you got me messed up. You put Steel, Miles, Virgil, and fucking Hobie Brown on one cover. I'm jacked up. I'm so upset, bro. I'm so upset.
I saw that at least an hour ago because I was scrolling through threads while I was kind of prepping for the show or whatever. And as soon as I saw it, and I was like,
So
nah, I
good.
can't. I'm like, man, come on, Sanford, man. Like when, like
That man don't miss.
nah. I feel like every time his pen or pencil, color pencils or anything touch a piece of paper, the paper just sets on fire. Like it's like, bro, I feel like you got to replace the table every day.
It's crazy. Like I remember, like when I first got back into comics during college, like I saw his Power Man and Iron Fist #1 cover, where like people try to say sometimes that like black writers just draw white folks not as authentically as like white like people would, but it's like no, he draws everybody in such a distinct style where like I've seen him do Guy Gardner, I've seen him
Yeah.
do Danny Rand, and his Danny Rand is savage. Like man just does everybody so respectful. There's like only a few different artists that have met the same quota of like you draw everyone authentically, and that's
Yeah.
like Jorge Jimenez, another great example of someone that draws
Yes.
folks authentically, because like they don't play, that they come in and they drop the bars and walk out the room, and it's a phenomenal, man.
And yeah, and there's some common artists that you see like their artwork and you don't even see the name, and you were like, that's Sanford, that's Dan Mora, that's Jim Lee, that Jorge. Then you know, it like you just know right off the top of your head what it is because everything like when you're speaking of Sanford, everything Sanford draws have a hip hop beat to it.
I wouldn't even say a hip hop beat. I think it's a almost a Harlem Renaissance feel, especially when you look at like Bitterroot, specifically Bitterroot, where it's like this dude has such a like authentic, like he play like you can see someone doing it as graffiti almost, where it feels so perfectly designed. There's that great cover he did for Legend Has It, that Mass Appeal collab with all the different rappers, where they turned them into superheroes, where it feels so in tune to the culture in the best way. Where like I think it was Trick Williams did an interview recently where he was talking about his theme music for WWE, where he wanted to harken back to the culture in the best ways, but also be authentically modern. And that's what Sanford Green is so good at doing.
Yes. With the lemon pepper steppers.
I don't get to talk about wrestling too much, so I had to set it out a little bit.
Man, yeah. So for me, like I said, I watch more of AEW because I feel like the way AEW stories are being told, the way they present themselves is that your voice is not minimized.
Oh, for sure.
And now WWE is a little bit more corporate and who they align themselves with. And
I'll keep it a band with you. I had sort of fell off after. I can tell you exactly what I fell off. I fell off after the John Cena Rock feud with WWE, and then I came back right when they went to Netflix, where I was like, I'm gonna come in. I'm bored on a Monday night. I'll watch. Screw it. And ever since then, I've been kind of back in the flow of it. I got a VPN for the PLEs and whatnot. I've been enjoying that. But then all this drama with the corporate stuff, the Saudis has been irritating me. Having to watch the women be in body socks has been pissing me off. But then, right as I'm about to walk out the door, they're like, hey, yo, we let everybody black come in. I'm like, hold on. Really? Right now? I'm about to walk out the door and you bringing all the black folks? Like, I was here for the Samoas. That was dope. But then you start going corporate. Now you're like, I'm bringing in everybody black. And I'm like, God damn it.
What's funny about it, what's ironic about it is that when you put out a campaign for DC So White, right? it's been over a certain amount of days since a single black wrestler been in a singles match on a PLE over a certain amount of days. I think it's been over like a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years.
I wouldn't say that because in a singles match, yes, because like we just saw Trick and Javon in the chamber, but like in terms of a PLE, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It's been a little minute, man. And so I know with the DC, so I know you got a lot of support. I mean, obviously, I'm one of them, and you know, my name is in the hat because when the court gets back together again, want to definitely want to be a part of that. But
for sure.
So you mentioned something about Cannon Busters, right?
Oh. Things to go, things to do, people to see. We got to get it done. By the way, oh man, I remember I used to have a podcast that spun out of my website called Blurred Grounds because the website was called On Comics Ground. We hadn't even been live for 2 episodes, and I gotta make sure I say this right. Freaking make sure I say the young lady's name right. Stephanie Shea saw us on Twitter. And for those who don't know her, she was Casey in the show. She's the new voice of Sailor Moon and all the new movies and whatnot. She reached out to me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I like your show. Would you like to interview the cast of Cannon Busters? Because we were going to talk about Cannon Busters on our latest episode."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Sure." And like I'm fresh out of college. I never like talked to no voice actors. I'm freaking the hell out. And we had Mela Lee come on the show. We had Kenny Blank came on the show. And there was the voice of the princess came on the show. And I can't think of her name. Angelique Perrin, she came on the show too. And all of them sat down with us, talked about the industry, talked about how much they loved the project. And I was like, cool, we helped. And we were all like getting excited, loving what we were doing. And then a year goes by, 2 years goes by, we don't hear nothing. And I got really resentful of the anime community. I got really resentful because I was like, y'all really let this gem, this like harkening back to like Cowboy Bebop, freaking Gundam in a way, freaking Zoids in a way, all these great ideas, and you let it fly out the window, all because you saw black folks. I was pissed, bro. And it's just like, yeah, man.
So for me, I was very, very excited about Cannon Busters because I've been hearing about it, and you know, with the creator and how he took time out in Japan. I was today years old when I found out it was an Udon comic, and I do love Udon comics because I love Street Fighter comics and stuff like that. So, so with LaShawn Thomas and Torres, I watched the show, watched like through and through that opening song.
Oh,
like
it's like crack, man. Like it feels so authentically us.
Yeah,
perfect in an anime. Where like people can ride with this and jive with it. It's so perfect.
Exactly. So I'm like, man, because every episode that I've seen, I never skip the intro. And there's some intros that you don't skip. That is one of them. The Yu Yu Hakusho intro, can never skip that. So it's one of those types. So when I finished the show, it's a certain feeling that I had, and it was a feeling of confusion a little bit, and because I know I want to talk about it, but I know the environment that I'm in.
Yeah,
because I wanted to be fair about it and I waited a little bit. I had to think about it because if I was going to critique the show, I didn't want someone that was listening or watching the show sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna use that as ammo and I'm gonna just double down and just dump on the show. So, and because again, these are black characters, and this is the first time that we see something like close to that, other than watching Gachi Okuda, which was not written by a black person, but you saw black characters in Gachi Okuda. But still yet though, there was a general consensus in some of the anime group pages that I've been in, like on Facebook, that the story felt like it was like all over the place. Like it wasn't like a centralized.
So that's a complicated question, like a statement to me, because like if you're somebody who could tolerate the world of Pokemon. If you're someone who can tolerate having the whole kitchen sink thrown at you at Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that, or even like and every like every anime fan can't say shit, because when you look at something like Dragon Ball Z, you get the whole kitchen sink thrown at you from jump with that show. And you're telling me that Cannon Busters is confusing? Like, that's what I mean, where it's like you have shows that go off the wall and do crazy ideas. And I kind of sat there like, yo, we got cowboys and cars and space and mechs, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is badass. Like, I'm down.
We getting everything.
Like, it felt
we
like
getting the full Coolie treatment
on crack. Like, it felt like everything. Like they used something. It was like a fantasy castle. I'm like, this is just D&D the anime. Let it happen. Let it vibe. And if you're down to cloud, you'll enjoy it. And like a great example of that, I think, as well, is like Digimon or Bakugan, where it's like you have these very shonen-esque animes that could have been that were great for our childhood, and like plot holes and contrivances and yada yada, but like people still ride with it. I think the problem is like just like what you said, people were hypercritical of it because it was black. If this was some white people shit or some just basic anime protagonist shit, people wouldn't have said nothing. People would have just rocked with it, enjoyed it, like probably would have got like a second season, third season, whatever, and we would have just moved on. But like, it's the fact that you saw brown skinned characters, especially the princess or the bot, rather the robot girl being dark skin, Sam being dark skinned black. That told you right there, some people were gonna ride with the show. The fact that they went out of their way to not really do light-skinned characters, like they actually made sure to actually show authentic black characters. It told me they cared more so. So it's like this wasn't gonna be some bebop shit where we question if dude's black or not. They're not gonna have this weird situation where you question someone's blackness. Like, we're seeing it right now on anime to like TikTok and anime Twitter right now, where everyone's freaking out about Brooke being black in the One Piece live action. Where it's like, brother is the Soul King. What do you mean? And it's just like, I don't. It's the same shit where it's like, you know for a fact these people are just inherently racist and they don't know how to translate their thought process and just say, I just don't like that he's black. It's like, can you just say it? Can you just be honest with yourself and try to quit making excuses? Like, can you just be honest? Because if you like, it's the same thing happened with the young lady who's playing what's her face, Vivi, where it's like, look, she literally is canon the same race that Oda put her in. It's just the animators didn't catch what Oda was putting down and made her bleach as hell in the anime. So it's like they just kept going with it. And Alabasta. It's like, Alabasta is
the kingdom of Alabasta. It's same. Like
you really think she gonna be bleached white out in them sands? Are you sure about that?
You know what? They wanted that. You know, remember those textbooks they had the white Egyptian guy? You know those books.
It's crazy, man. And it's just like I remember when people were freaking out about Nami's sister being black, and I was like, that's just you being petty. Then it got to the point where they started showing like actual authentic characters from specific like worlds and whatnot, and they were mad they were black, and I'm like, y'all just being real ignorant now. Like y'all can't have nothing, y'all can't enjoy nothing, and it's just sad.
It's crazy because I'm like, okay, if you are a true fan of One Piece, and Luffy and the crew goes from island to island to island to island, you think everybody looks the same? Like, you really think everybody looks the same? And to your point, like when people were saying, oh man, like, so Brooke is black, like, again, Soul King, who like, you thought somebody else was going to be the Soul King? Nah.
Oh man, shout out to my man LA Knight. He don't get the love that he need, man.
He don't. And I like, man, that was just perfect casting. I mean, the way he smiled when he was playing for Laboon.
That big ass smile. They don't bring that young man back to play him when they get to Brooke, man. I'll be so mad. Like, that's gonna be a pain in the ass trying to animate a skeleton, but like, let him do his thing. Let him do his thing, please.
And what's funny about it, yesterday was the day I started watching the One Piece live action from season 1 because of because it's safe to say we both anime watchers.
Yeah.
So whenever there gets a live action adaptation of an anime, it really don't. It really
There's
falls
some
short.
trepidation behind that. We have like Dragon Ball Evolution trauma. Like it's okay. Like
yeah. So so when I saw the trailer, I'm like, I don't know. And then I started watching the first season, and then first episode, second episode, third episode, and it could dent so much within 8 episodes. And if you never watched the anime One Piece, you could definitely get into it because of because all the main points are getting hit.
Yeah,
like within the season. So it gave me a feeling of how I felt when I first started watching like the first half of One Piece, like when he met Nami, he met Usopp and Zoro and Sanji, and you know, putting the straw hat on Nami's head, like, you hold on to this while I go whoop this man's ass over here, and come back, and the Baroque work scene and Laboon and meeting all the giants. It gave me that sense of friendship, camaraderie, bonds getting stronger. Like, my favorite moments in One Piece as an anime is when they're all on the boat together. Not when they're on the island, but they're all on the boat together. Because those are the funniest moments.
Oh, for sure. And it's just like I have always struggled to watch One Piece because like I'll get into it, I'll ride with it for a while, then I'll fall off, I have to restart, yada yada. I will say if there was one thing that I wish the One Piece and live action would have went more balls to the wall for is the Dog Creek stuff, because like Dog Creek felt like so important to that Barati stuff where it's like man tore up everything. He tore up everything. That was the one thing I didn't get, was him pulling up to the kitchen. So other than that, I think this is a very admirable live action show. And the fact that Oda has been able to come in and give his consent, give his like thought process on everything, he's given his blessing to every one of these characters. That's like how I feel about Rick Riordan right now with the Percy Jackson TV show, where it's like, if the creator is coming in and making changes because they want to make sure it's still a good adaptation, y'all can't tell me nothing. If it ain't no Hollywood interference stuff like the first Percy Jackson movie, I don't care. Let them do what they want. Like, people were mad about certain changes in the Percy Jackson show. I'm like, I don't care. I let it happen. Like as long as it's a good show, I don't care. And that they've been kicking butt. That's all I care about.
Now, I need your opinion on this. A certain trailer came out this week, or this week or last week. It's DC trailer. Lanterns. I need your opinion. Like, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll give you mine.
Okay, go for it.
So when I first watched it, I was like, this is interesting. This is an interesting choice. Yeah. And I'm like, maybe they're just messing with us. Maybe they're just messing with us. You know, like maybe this is an alien planet and they're just showing the illusion. Maybe that's what this is.
See, and what's so funny about that is I kind of said that on Threads and on the podcast this week. I was like, look, I really feel like especially with how I know Gunn does things, you could have just had this be Guardians. You could have had this been like cops on an alien planet, even if you wanted to depower them and save budget. Just make it Mandalorian. Make it like they just happen to be on an alien planet. You see some weird faces. You see some worm heads and stuff like that. Like, if you want to keep it low to the ground, keep it low to the ground. But like, don't like play in my face with the idea that you're grounding the lanterns, the space cops. You're telling me the space cops have to be confined to Earth? What sense does that make? What is this, Ben 10 Alien Force Season 1, where you have to like trap them on Area 51 to get plot done? Like, nah, fam, I'm not here for that. That's why, like, and I even kind of said in my video, I was like, look, I understand the fear that like DC and WB as a company have, because the last time they did this stuff, it was CGI nonsense on the screen 24/7. And also there's been this wave of content creators the past couple of days who have been trying to do revisionist history and trying to say that the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie wasn't that bad. Fam, Ryan Reynolds was so bad about that movie, he killed his character in that movie in the Deadpool movie. Like, that should tell you right there that that this movie wasn't good, that this movie was trash. Like, it's okay to be critical about some stuff just because you're upset about how some new ish look. And it's like, that's the issue that I have, where this new generation of like content creators, these newer generation of fans want to get clicks and have reactions, because $100 Soups don't believe that shit that he said the past couple days. Like, other content creators, they're looking to be contrarians because they know they'll get them clicks. People will stitch their content, etc. And it's like, what happened to just being authentic? What happened to having authentic opinions about stuff? Yeah, you might have the same opinion as somebody else, but it's like, what's wrong with being authentic and growing a fan base for being authentic? That's what I be trying to tell people.
Nothing is wrong with that. And I know you grow authentic fan bases. And I was sitting there talking to my fiance about this, and I was like, man, you know what? Most of my subscribers came from when I covered black content. Like when I covered Storm, when I covered Mr. Terrific, or anything in regards to a black character. I credit all that to those videos.
Oh yeah.
Like alone. I was like, man, because with the Dakota incident, it got like the most views in most recent, like in the past couple months or so. And then for some reason or another, like I had like 800 subscribers and I jumped up to 883. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oh yeah.
And I credit that. And I think the final issue of Storm before the infamous break, that one had like maybe 4,000 plus views or whatever it used to be. So I'm like, man, what the heck? So it's crazy. So people want to see it, you know.
I will say that, like, here's my biggest problem with a lot of folks is that, like, I don't like speaking ill of the dead, so I'm going to choose my words wisely. I think that the generation of content creators that the person we were talking about earlier and other content creators raised a generation of people who are just comfortable with the comics being told to them, rather than not contributing to the literacy epidemic and going to pick up a book for themselves. So there are newer fans that are coming in and hearing us critique books, hearing us talk about books, that actually go out and search the books because we're excited about it, we're into it. And like, yeah, our clicks may not be as big as other content creators and whatnot, but the dedicated fans that actually care about our opinions will start showing up. Like, case in point, that Sanford Green cover I mentioned. Like, I had made big waves because of the campaign and whatnot. I made big waves because I was caring about the Dakota incident, and people were tagging me about the Sanford Green cover because I've said that I'm the president of the Sanford Green fan club. I love that dude's work, and people were like, JP. I'm like, I'm at work. Hold on, and I go to the back real quick and look, and I start going, this motherfucker can't miss. Like, I start saying that to everybody. This man don't miss, and it felt good to be tagged. It felt good to be authentically myself, and it feels rewarding when you be yourself and not trying to be something you're not. And I think a lot of more like newer content creators will do better if they stop with this goofy ish and actually be themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Like, okay, did you ever get this feeling like when you creating content, right? And you have that little thought back here, like, you know what? This might not be hitting the way I think it is as a channel. Maybe I should go and do something else. Anytime you have that thought, something or someone bring you back, you don't have to talk about it to them, but either they hit you up or they give you a message or something, and it just brings you back to it. It was like, yeah, I'm meant to do this.
There's been a couple times like that for sure, where it's like I felt like a video wasn't gonna hit, and then I ended up putting it out. Like, a perfect example is there was all the people that were arguing because the Escape podcast guys started the whole conversation of, do you have to read a comic book to be a comic book fan? And I had made, like, I recorded the whole video, went to bed, woke up, and was like, I'm not gonna post that. And then, like, other people were putting their thing out. I'm like, I'm gonna post it, and it did marginally well. It wasn't the biggest success of like any video I've had, but it felt good. There's also been times where, like, I'll record a whole video and I'll back off because I feel like I'm contributing to a situation where, like, it's just too much as it is. Like, about the person we were talking about earlier, I made like 3 different videos, raging, irritated, ready to go to war, and I had to sit down and rethink my approach and calm down. And even the video that I did put out was sped up because I kept talking too damn much. But
Yeah.
even that video ended up being the bigger success because it was more thought out, more not like just nonstop rage, and it got the attention of someone like Gail Simone, and she followed me. It got the attention of different creators because they appreciated my respect. I didn't say dude's name. I kept it professional, and I moved on.
Yeah.
And it matters when you walk a line of professionalism where you don't just be diving into stupid stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've had my arguments with folks where I've had my discussions. Like, I sat on a live last weekend trying to stop somebody from making stupid decisions, and they still do making stupid decisions. And it's just like, I tried. No one can say I didn't try. So it's just like I'll like poke my head into the drama every once in a while, or like back in January, someone tried to start drama with me, and I just ignored it. I didn't involve myself with it because like everything they were saying was contrived and not true. So it was just like, why should I involve myself in that if it's not true? Why should because I have receipts, and then they started to show receipts that showed me in a positive light despite what they were saying, and I'm like, your receipts don't look like what you're saying. Are you sure about that? So I was just kind of like, all right, have fun. And I moved on because I would rather maintain professionalism and be authentically myself than just start drama. And like, don't get me wrong. Do I have hypercritical opinions that piss people off? For sure. I am notoriously the president of the Tommy Oliver hate club in the Power Rangers community. I'm that dude who will walk in the room, drop a grenade, and walk out. So like that's why I got very notorious in that community. But it's like I genuinely will drop my hot takes when I need to.
Dang, man, you hate Tommy, man.
So like, here's the thing. We gonna get into it. No, let's get into it. Fuck it. So like, I learned. I was a generation of a Power Rangers fan that started with the Turbo movie. So like, I was like 5, 6, started with the Turbo movie because I was born the same year that MMPR came out. So like, I came in later. So I went back and watched all the Mighty Morphin stuff through like Blockbuster VHSs and stuff like that. So I knew early on what it was all about, and I would go back and watch it early on. But for me, I am someone that is like similar to how I kind of say that like Dennis Cowan is up on a pedestal. You can't really critically be up on his case because he's just reached a precipice that like he's just God. He's just the GOAT. You can't mess with him.
Yeah.
The MMPR seasons are in a vacuum good from that era, but critically, they are not good television. They are not good stories. They are not great entertainment for a modern era. But when you look at everything from Zeo forward, debatably Zeo and Turbo, but like I'll still give Zeo and Turbo some credit depending on what episode it is. Like, you can look at everything from Zeo forward and see comprehensive plots. They started to recognize the fact that the fan base was growing up with them. So when I see fans that still to this day, despite knowing the behind the scenes politics and things of that nature, who will ride or die for a man who was just uplifted because little kids loved him so much and can't think critically about the fact that his plot lines weren't that inventive, his plot lines weren't that great, his Zords weren't that great. Like, everything about him was like, cool. He got moved to a different color because in the Sentai his character died. Cool. That's fine. But then I even remind people they love his White Ranger so much despite hating Justin from Turbo because the Kiba Ranger was the Justin of that season of Power Rangers, but they don't, or of the Sentai. And people don't want to have those conversations. They get salty about that. And it's like, and like the only season of Power Rangers that I don't hate Tommy Oliver is probably Zeo because it felt like he was a more comprehensive character, not just like the same dude just saying it's every 5 minutes. Like and plus I hate the idea that despite how amazing and how traditional and how respectful the generations of Sentai are, we derailed an entire like multi-arc story of Power Rangers for one character. That feels so poorly managed. That feels so disrespectful to the other actors. The other, like 3 of the other actors left because they were being like paid poorly despite their fame and despite what was going on. But one guy stayed and was rewarded for being loyal to the bad practices. And it's like, That's gross. I don't like that. But then I'll sit there with people and be like, I can name 5 Red Rangers that have better plots, better powers, and better Zords than Tommy. I can name six Rangers that have better plots, better powers, better suits, better stories than Tommy. But people will still play in my face and be like, no, Tommy's the best. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So like you didn't listen to a damn thing I said. And I used to have a lot more smoke for JDF when he was alive, but
Yeah.
I don't talk about the dead. I don't do that. That's disrespectful. And mental health is a big issue that we all deal with. So I will always tell people that I've put my hatred for JDF to bed. I can't speak on that as well as I would like to because that's disrespectful. But at the end of the day, I will always have smoke for Thomas Oliver because Thomas Oliver is one of the worst things that ever happened to Power Rangers.
Hey, yo, Patrick Venner said Jessa was inspirational for me. I thought I could be a Power Ranger. Yeah, that's true. And Henry says everything was lit up to Ninja Storm or whatever it was called.
Oh no! The show kept being good. I still say SPD is the best, the second best season of the show, and then RPM. Well, I think SPD is probably the best season, and then Jungle Fury and then RPM are the best seasons of Power Rangers in my opinion.
Yeah, and Pat said, "Hey, Tom was the GOAT. Cut it out."
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like no one can think critically. That's nostalgia blind. It's so annoying.
Man, listen. Mr. Venom was like, nah. But I will tell you this. Oh, him and Andros. I said the two.
Oh, you mean Becky with the good hair? I love Becky with the good hair. We love, like if you read the comic book, specifically Power Rangers Unlimited, you understand why I call him Becky with the good hair, because there was no reason why he should have went off with Ashley and left his ex-boyfriend sitting there. Zane got disrespected so hard. It was very obvious that they were doing some subtext there. Those two were in love.
Yeah, it was put out there.
In the comics, I was like, you know what you did. You know what you did, damn it. You like let Becky with the good hair go be with her boyfriend. Damn it.
Said, you know what you did. Exactly. So I would say I grew up on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm born in 85. So I was there from the Jump Street. However, I have heard many people say Power Rangers in Space, Power Rangers SPD, two of the best ones.
Oh, for sure.
SPD, I heard a lot. In Space, especially with the Psycho Rangers, it was like it felt like it had more of a darker feel to it. Now, when I was introduced to Tommy, and the way Tommy was whooping everybody's ass, because I had never seen the Power Rangers jump into a Zord, whoop everybody's ass. I mean, out the Zord and on the ground, everybody caught hands. Everybody.
Oh, for sure.
But I will say, by reading the comics, I know Zach was supposed to be the original. I know he's supposed to be the OG. He was offered that mantle first, and he said, "Nah, get the fuck out of my face." So, like, he told me to get on out of here with that. So, can you imagine Zach though as the Green Ranger, man? I'm like,
oh. It would have been beautiful. And like, I will always give Kyle Higgins, Marguerite Bennett, Melissa Flores, all the writers, Ryan Perot, all the writers of the comic books, because they knew their shit. They busted their ass for their shit. Like, a lot of people, I interviewed Melissa Flores, the writer of the current series Power Rangers Prime, and she did the wrap up of the MMPR book. She created the Power Rangers Bible when Saban bought back the license for Disney. And when so many individuals were being haters and being like, oh, we don't like Prime, we don't like the suits, we don't like that's not MMPR. I'm like, eat a dick, bro. She is putting so much work into making this show or this comic book be better for fans, for ride or die fans. Hey, y'all just want more MMPR trash. So when it got canceled, and then we saw these new suits that don't look that great that everyone's kind of salty about. I'm like, you wanted this, right? You wanted more Tommy, you wanted more Jason, you wanted more Kimberly. You didn't want to have new stories. So like, why should you be mad about these suits when it's the same stuff you wanted, just a little different, right? You don't want innovation. You don't want new ideas. You want the same shit in a different package. That's all it is.
You know what's funny though is that when Power Rangers Prime came out, because I did cover a few issues of Power Rangers Prime on my channel. I love the fact that Rita was the one that gave them their powers. I'm like, man, this shit is interesting. And the fact that Zordon, like his species, wasn't so squeaky clean. It's like, yeah, our species saved y'all from alien invasion, but you know what though? You owe us.
It's
So
giving colonizer, and it's real
yes,
interesting.
yes, they colonized the planet. I was like, okay, and Rita wasn't having that. Like, yo, this ain't it for you. These are the powers you're gonna have. You can take it or leave it. It's whatever. You know, she still had that same attitude, but it was so interesting, and I was locked in for that. And the fact that it was canceled was crazy because people was gatekeeping, and like they have those nostalgia fits. And I was like, you know, what more can you say about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that already haven't been said already? Like, can we do something new? And the fact that you brought in the VR troopers and then the same freaking universe, like,
man, it makes me so mad. And I don't get me wrong, am I gonna read the new book because like Marguerite Bennett's writing it and she was the one who did Beyond the Grid, which was like Magna Defender and Ranger Slayer and Tanya from SPD and like all that stuff. Like, I'm gonna read it because I know she knows her stuff. But am I still gonna sit there and be salty that these fans ruined a really good idea and broke like a woman's heart who like actually cared about the series? Yeah, because like if you go read her stuff over with Kyle Higgins in the Massiveverse, like her pretty lucky and whatnot, like she's killing it. She knows her stuff about Power Rangers and letting that manifest into her other work. And I'm just like, y'all missed out. Y'all missed out. Y'all were salty about change, and y'all done messed up.
Yeah, y'all done messed up the bag, man. Y'all messed up goodness. Y'all messed up goodness. So I'm gonna ask you, your start into reading comic books. Like, tell me that experience.
Hold on,
it's like,
okay.
It felt like you remember that vividly because the way your eyes lit up just now.
So like, have you ever heard? I love telling this story. It's so much fun. Have you ever heard of a book called Batman the Cult?
Yes. Never read it, but I did hear.
Oh,
I have
brother.
Heard of it.
So my mother used to be a detention officer for the Akron youth detention center here in town. And like the Akron library would bring in books for kids and whatnot. My mother was rushing around working 2 different jobs, not paying attention. She brought home Batman the Cult, saw Batman on it, and just gave it to me. Said, "Here, have some Batman shit because you're watching the TV show." And I read through that and was traumatized. It was like everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked because Jim Starlin, if I meet that man before he dies, I'm going to walk up to him and be like, what drugs were you on? Because this book is insane. Because like genuinely, when you see a rat-faced man tell Batman that an old black man is a pimp and that he needs to beat up the pimp to save all the hoes in the neighborhood, it is, oh Lord, it traumatizes you. So I was at my dad's house because like he had me like for the weekend, and he saw me read it. Was like, I'm gonna go get you some black shit because like I want you to make sure you have superheroes that you recognize. So he's working at Chrysler. He don't know what he's doing. So he walks into a comic shop and he's like, I need some black stuff. I need comics like superheroes, like black superheroes. The comic store owner gave him Captain America and Falcon, the Priest run, and gave him the 95 Tony or Jenny Isabella Black Lightning run. So that was early on where I knew my superheroes could be on the same level as everybody else, but other people didn't see it that way. So I was taught very early on to love black superheroes, love all superheroes. Like my first ever like ongoing series that I collected was Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. I was that kid that was ride or die in the mix of all the stuff that was going on in the DC universe. That's why I see all these newer age fans that are out here loving Superboy Prime in like the pages of DCKO and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, he like viscerally punched off the head of a black woman. Like, are you really like chill with this man? Like, do you know the atrocities that this little boy has done and you're just cool with him? They're like, no, we want a redemption story for him. And I'm like, he got a redemption story. In Death Metal, he got a whole like ending, a happy ending, and then Williamson wrote it to where he got bored and wanted more. And I'm like, her? Like it just, I have like that's why I see all these new fans who love Superboy Prime. I'm just like, y'all just don't know. Y'all don't know what I know. Like I was there. It's like that meme from Smosh where Shane Top's like, I was there, man. You don't know, man. Like it just, oh man, y'all don't know.
Man, so for me, my introduction was in a more traditional sense because I had no access to a comic book store nearby me. It was like maybe 25 miles. Mom wasn't going to take me. So it was a time where comics was in the grocery stores or the pharmacy, on the
Yeah.
carousel. You had access. There was multiple places you could have access to it. So I picked up an X-Men comic. It was a wrap for me. I fell in love instantly. And I saw a Wolverine solo series. I was done. I was done, man. So anytime I went to the drugstore, whoop, 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 whoop. And I found out about Milestone much later in life. And like in my 20s because I didn't have access to Milestone, and Milestone wasn't on those carousels. It would damn sure have been at the comic book store like 20 miles
Oh,
up
for
the road,
sure.
but I didn't have access to that. So when I start reading about Icon hardware, and I feel like I'm more gravitated towards hardware than anything, but just by his character design and
Yeah,
all that, I was like,
man.
man, this shit is dope. Like so, and shout out to my fiance because she actually gave me all the compendiums, like one through
Ooh.
four, like a couple weeks ago, and I was like giddy because I don't want a whole lot, and I'm the type of person like if it's my birthday, I'm not going to ask for a whole lot. So I kind of I'm a minimalist when it comes to certain things. I said, can you just get me compendium 1 and 2? And I was going to buy 3 and 4. You know what I mean? Knowing how she functions, she don't like. I don't like incompletion. So I bought all 4 of them. So here you go. I like, man, listen, there's a reason why I'm marrying you, ma'am. And she got me this short box too because there's a gentleman in North Carolina that he makes his own short boxes, and
Oh, really?
he had a milestone short box, and it's right here. And I put all the
Oh,
milestone books
you gonna have to hook
in
me
here.
up. I don't know about this man.
Yes,
Oh, snap.
yeah. He's willing to meet you too. He's like, yeah, because
Oh.
I'm in South Carolina, and he's in North Carolina. Man, I can meet you halfway, get you one if you want one. It was a milestone short box, and it was a static one. So I thought about being petty and getting a static one because my best friend Will, his favorite hero is Static. Like when I tell you he got milestone stuff in his house, he got milestone stuff in his house. But I say, so I told my man, I was like, yo, hold this box for me, because I know somebody's on the way and he's gonna get it. And so he got the short box, and I was like, so from now on, every short box that I'm gonna get, I'm gonna buy it from him. It's like maybe $40, but it's like he's drawing on it, like the comic panels and all that.
I wonder if
You
he
know?
would do a long box for me because like long boxes are more my shit. Like I have a Marvel one, a DC one. I'm about to get an Image one next week. I'm more of a
Yeah.
long box guy.
I'm pretty sure you do it.
I want to get one short box for like my coveted ones, but
Yeah.
like because I have like a Captain America 117. It's beat to hell, but I have one because it's Sam's first appearance. Like
Yeah.
I have certain books like that like aren't in a comic capsule just yet, but I want to like keep on the low. So I'm currently looking for this Blade short box that came out last year that I never got, like where it's like
Mm-hmm.
Blade peeking through the blinds of a variant cover. And I'm
Okay.
like, damn it, I missed that. I'm so bad about it to this
Yeah, I'm gonna
day.
need that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. So did you go through a period where you took a break from comics and then jump back into it?
Yeah, because like there was a time right around it was during the New 52. I started
Yeah.
high school right when the New 52 had came out, and I just became disenfranchised because I'm a lore junkie. Like I have a Dark Souls tattoo. I love my lore. Like I'm very much that guy that like you hand me some shit, I'm gonna dive into it and have a good time dissecting all of it. So when you tell me that over the past like 10 some years that I've been reading comics, that all of it is irrelevant, I'm gonna sit there and be like, that's gross. Especially when you say, not only is all of it gone, but all of it but a little bit stayed because we were lazy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we don't want to redo all the Robins. So like all the Robins are here, but like none of their history is here. I was like, huh? And then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, all the Green Lantern stuff is here, but like none of the other stuff's canon. I'm like, huh? And it just
Yeah.
I wrote it out for a little bit. I was subscribed to Lobdell's Teen Titans because I'm a Teen Titans junkie. I had a couple things here and there. I bought the Static Shock like 8-issue run, but when Static got canceled, I was like, I'm done. I'll read some trades at the library here and there, but I'm gonna take a break. And I came back right at the tail end of New 52, right when the Cyborg series came out by David F. Walker. That was like, oh, you finally gave him a book 5 years after you put him on the league? All right, cool. I'll read that. And then that was like right when DC Rebirth kicked off. And I got a call from the comic shop. They're like, hey, we really think you should come read this book. And I'm like, should I? Because I just started college and I'm like, I don't know if I should. They're like, no, we really think you should. I walk in and I see Wally and I'm like, damn it. And now I have to care again. And I'm just like, now I'm diving back in, reading all this in that third. And I was intermittent with my Marvel around that time too. Like AVX was going on and I was still kind of like intertwined with that. But like I wasn't as heavy in my Marvel as I used to be. So I dove like hella back in because Secret Wars had just ended and all different Marvel had just kicked off. Had David F. Walker and Sanford Green's Power Man and Iron Fist. Had Jeff Lemire's Daredevil. Had all these great books that were going on. And then right as I came in, the Fire Nation attacked. And it was Civil War 2. And I was pissed. So it's just like the one book that I stayed loyal to through my entire high school years was Miles Morales, because that came out right when I started high school. But it was like when the New 52 messed up my stuff, I was like, I don't like you no more. It was very much like it was like that meme of Andy like going, I don't want to play with you anymore because you messed up my bag, and then trying to say some of the bag was still there, and I'm annoyed. And that was when I kind of took a break. I was still lingering because of Miles, but then I came back with Rebirth. And I even had Snyder and Capullo sign Batman number 50 because or 50, I think it was 50 or 51, where it has like this beautiful cover of Bruce towering over a Gotham on the cover. It was their final issue. And it was so beautifully done. It was 51. And it was so beautifully done. It's this like redo of the first issue in a lot of ways. It was really cool. And then King came in and I was like, I don't like you either. I'm gonna go over here and read these other books. Like Titan will always have my heart because Detective was so good. It felt like it respected canon. It had great vibes. So like, there's some writers that have earned my respect over the years because it showed they cared. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I could tell you a time like going back. So this when DC was like started cooking, and with absolute power. With Amanda Waller, I'm like, man, I like, okay, I see what you're doing, DC. And then you get Justice League Unlimited, and you had a DC All In line, right? And I was like, oh, we got some Black Lightning. I said, okay, you know, I'm sitting up, and then you get the Absolute Universe. Then I get Absolute Evil, and which was a phenomenal like book. I was like, so,
R.I.P. Oliver.
You're right. Yes, man. I was not expecting that. Like that was a twist. Hawkman was not to be fucked with. He was like,
man, I want to have a talk with Snyder at some point. I want to have a talk with somebody in DC because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea that an Egyptian pharaoh is a Republican. I'm trying to wrap my brain around that. This idea that not only is he a white man, but he's a Republican. Like someone needs to explain that to me, that how an Egyptian pharaoh keeps reincarnating into a white man. Someone needs to unpack that for me a little bit.
Like explain that to me, because like, listen, when he laid Oliver on that table, I think back to Pulp Fiction. Like, I'm sorry, did I break your concentration? Because everybody, I was like, whoa, what is going on here? So from reading that, and then I get a DCKO. Right. So here's the thing. Now,
that event is so convoluted.
I stopped after issue 2 of DCKO because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I can definitely be wrong on this, and you can correct me on this. So they gave us the brackets, right? So us to have fun with. And I was like, yo, this is like Mortal Kombat, this NCAA March Madness type of feel some kind of way with most of the black characters on one bracket because you minimize, you know, eventually it's going to reduce those numbers. But I was like, but still yet, big bracket, ready to see this. One-on-ones. First issue comes out. It's a battle royal. Got no issue with that because, you know, you're trying to reduce these numbers. It is
right.
Second issue. It feels like it's another battle royal. You got to find the power items, all that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. By the end of it, this bracket is way shorter than what it was advertised.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I stopped. Like right then and there, I was like, I ain't covering this no more. I felt so bad about that.
I even kind of said it on the podcast last week where I was like, look, you almost had me check out when you dragged Connor Hawk into this event only to have him be eaten by the Joker. Like that kind of pissed me off. You had my attention when you took Bruce Wayne off the table because I was like, I'm getting really tired of Bat God guys. Can we stop with the Bat God stuff? And you had my attention when you finally put a blade through his chest. I was like, you know what? We can have a conversation. And then we got to the next round. And it just felt like so much was being disrespected. Connor Hawk was getting eaten. Vixen was getting disrespected. Black Lightning barely held on. And I'm just like, what is this? What like this don't even feel fair. This don't even feel right. And it's just I would have rathered a longer event with multiple brackets set up. And what really felt like they were playing in my face when they were like, all right, cool, grab all these powerful weapons, but you're not gonna use them in the next round. I'm like, huh? Like, I would have paid buku money to read Speed Force Harley up against Zatanna. That would have been a banger. Or better yet, Wonder Woman with Thor's hammer against Lobo would have been crazy. And they didn't do it. Like, I don't understand it. And it just like I even kind of said it. There was enough eye rolls in that book that I had to give it a 7. You were not. I started out as a 6.5, but then Blue Jacket B-Rag kind of pushed me up a little bit. I was like, "You're not getting higher than a 7 because you made me eye roll enough that I was like, nope, too much, too much."
I mean, by the beginning of it, you're like, okay, just by the way it was being worded, how Lex was talking to Superman, I was like, okay, yeah, Superman's gonna be King Omega by the end of this. Like he's gonna be the finalist at the end of this. I said, but it would be dope if you had the stones to just switch it up a little bit. Because my pick to be was Barter. That Big Barter was my pick. Like I was like, pick. Man, interesting pick. I was like, man, you know, because I don't know what it is by me looking there. Maybe it's muscle mommy. Maybe that's what it is.
You just like big ladies, and that's okay.
Because my introduction to Barter was in a Justice League movie.
Oh, that's why.
And, that's what it was.
That's why.
But what's funny about it, I feel like Batman caught himself a peek because he was already in the house.
Oh, that scene will always bother me where it's like, you're being voiced by Kevin Conroy, but you just being in the house like that was weird, Bruce. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
He was just sitting there like just stone facing like, what's up?
You just in this lady's house, so disrespectful. Like, Bruce, it's okay to not be there. Like, you don't have to be there.
But also, I thought about this last week because, I was thinking about, what we was going to talk about on the show. I said, it would have been dope if Jon Stewart would have been King Omega.
See, I feel as if somebody at DC has a problem with Jon Stewart solely because Jeffrey Thorne walked in the room during his Green Lantern run and just made Jon Stewart the most powerful Green Lantern in the room. And it was so funny because there was this person in my DMs last week who was like, hey, I really love DC So White. I really love what you're doing. Can you help me start a separate movement where I uplift Hal Jordan because I feel like Hal Jordan's getting the shaft? And I sat there and just laughed. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. Like, that scene from Batman Beyond Return of the Joker where Joker just goes, it'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. Oh, what the hell? I'll laugh anyway. Because the audacity of this person, I even said it very respectfully too. Like, I vehemently hate this character, but I will not be rude to you because I understand that everybody's character can be somebody's favorite. But at the same time, if you know my content, I am the president of the Hal Jordan hate club just as much as I'm the president of the Tommy Oliver hate club. Hal Jordan should have never came back from the dead. He is one of the biggest reasons why we have stagnation in comic books. And Jon Stewart getting the shaft that he is right now, where he's just over on the Green Lantern Corps book. He's not just the Green Lantern. He's not we've entered an age where a lot of millennial fans are adults now who grew up with the Justice League animated TV show. You would think the main Green Lantern book would just be John now, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to have controversy. So
because if you think about it, some people's introduction into Green Lantern was Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and it was Jon Stewart like through and through. And it's been several stories about Hal, like
Yeah.
several stories. He was paralyzed for crying out loud. So I was like,
And like, if people get so mad at trying to say that, like, oh, Parallax was that a character, that's why Jeff Johns went in and fixed it. And I'm like, no. It like, he doesn't have to be like this crazy ass like villain about his parallax to where like, oh, he was always this evil or some shit. No, he was pushed to the brink. And you're telling me that if your whole family, everything you know in life, your whole city is just took out, you ain't gonna be a little crazy? You ain't gonna be a little upset? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have tragic villains. You could have villains that are just pushed to the brink and don't give a shit no more. But it's when you try to play this like pity party game of like, oh, I miss when this character was like this. No, motherfucker, let that shit progress. You had a good ride. Let that man sit the edge and have some fun as he goes out the door. Like, it's okay to have those fun little runs where somebody just loses their shit. It's okay. Like, I loved the Green Lantern movie they did a few years ago, Beware My Power, because I love the way they redo the origin where Parallax was always an entity, where it's like, no, it infected me, but I wanted it to. It helped me see the truth that the lanterns were bull. And it's like, you know what? Good arc, Hal. Good arc. Bravo. Like, you showed some growth and you did your own thing. So it's just like, I would rather Hal be a villain and stop this whole game of like, oh no, I'm the most pure will of heart Green Lantern. It's like, Kyle Rayner resurrected that whole Green Lantern Corps without you because you blew it up. So I don't want to hear nothing from you.
Do you think in this Lantern series that's going to be the destination for Hal?
Oh yeah, no, like
they're
setting it up to be just like Beware My Power, where like you can kind of see that suit is gonna turn from brown to yellow real quick. You're gonna see it like a real like steady transition where like they're trying to act like Hal is Danny Glover a little bit, where he's too old for this shit, but it's gonna be like, nah, he's gonna be Parallax in like 5 minutes. Just let him cook. Let's give it time.
And it's a natural response too, because it's like, man, look, everybody got a breaking point. Like, you know, that just realistic. You know, some people's ceilings are higher than others, but but that ceiling can get reached. And I mean, it has shown itself. So, so I know before we get out of here, I gotta ask. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
So 2 top 5s. So, give me your top 5 heroes or villains.
Like, it doesn't matter what company.
Nope, don't even matter.
Oh, okay. So I'll do heroes because heroes is easy for me. I always tell people that it goes Sam, Jefferson, Miles Morales, Tim Drake, Blade. That will always be my top 5, where it's like those are the characters that have made the most impact on me, and then intermittently, depending on my mood, Blade and Spawn will trade places on that ladder.
Okay.
Because that's just how I am. Like where it's just, I love Blade to death, but Blade doesn't have enough of a catalog to where I can like let him sit there long enough. And then Al has so much sitting in the back around that I'm slowly buying his compendiums, where it's like Al will probably slide to that top 5, and then Blade will sit comfortably at 6. Where it's just like, right, so for sake of the argument, goes Sam, Jeff, Tim. Well, Sam, Jeff, Miles, Tim. So Sam, Jeff, Miles, Tim, Spawn, Blade. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I was even looking at my backlog the other day. I can't think of a whole lot of like white heroes that I really rock with these days, and I felt bad about that. Where it's just like they're not telling any innovative stories that I really give a shit about. Midnighter, I'll give Midnighter as in my top 10 most definitely, because like Steve Orlando giving like masculine queer men like myself representation has been a lot to me. And also Midnighter as a character, despite how problematic Garth Ennis is, he's an amazing character. You have to make me have to make a list. Jesus Christ. Where let me pull my Google diagram.
And I'm surprised that one character is not in your top 5.
Ooh,
Curtis Metcalf.
See, here's the thing. He's in the top 10. I would say that like it would like he would probably be right behind, like, so it'll probably be like Spawn, then Curtis, and then Midnighter, because like the thing about it is, for me, he doesn't have enough of a run where I'm like, you've reached this level. But at the same time, other characters have taken his traits and elevated themselves, like Miles. Miles is that STEM kid who got his shot, similar to Curtis, where it's like you're in the top 10, Curtis, for sure, but I can't go pick up like multiple current issues of hardware. Now, if you want to talk about who I really want to write a hardware book that I'm trying to manifest it, I really, really, really like. I want to have a conversation with Joe and Marquise to like have them try to rebuild this relationship, because I'm mad that DC messed up their bag. The money that I would pay every dime in my bag to see David F. Walker write a hardware book. Because not only would it be the ultimate story that has never been told, but it would rebuild a damaged relationship that DC messed up. I would kill for a David F. Walker hardware book. And I'm going to tell him, because I'm talking to him in the next 2 weeks when I get back from Cleveland Fan Expo, because he has a Kickstarter going on right now called the Monster of Blackenstein, not to be confused with Blackenstein.
Yes.
I'm about to talk to him and be like, you are my one pick. If I had to trade in every book I own and every dime in my bag for one run, give me 20 to 30, 20 to 50 issues of a hardware book. Give me David F. Walker. I don't care what artist. You can put Sanford on. I don't give a shit. I don't care who. Like Sanford, Kerry, Randolph. I don't care. Give me somebody with David giving me a hardware book, and it would be the greatest collection of literature ever, because it would dive so heavily deep into everything we need in society, and I would kill for it, bro. Like, genuinely. And that would put Curtis at the top of the ladder.
That's a hell of a choice. You know what I got to say about that?
Yeah! They squabbling out there now. Yeah!
Oh, but what I would do, it'd be great.
The man, that for me, you know, I feel like Stephanie Williams can write Blood Syndicate easy.
The minute she said it on that Black Comic Lords live, I was like, I really wanted you for Icon and Rocket. I really wanted you to be like Raquel's Rebirth and let her do her thing. But then she said she wanted the Blood Syndicate. I was like, you know what? I'll allow it. I'm sitting down with her on Tuesday. I'll be like, that is Stephanie Unload the Clip Williams, and you will put respect on her name, because she walked in the room and read every toxic comic fanboy for filth. It is one of the greatest moments in the history of any that I've ever seen. Whereas, y'all need to put respect on her name, and motherfuckers still won't do it, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, for her, for Blood Syndicate, her for Rocket, because low key, I ain't gonna hold you. I kind of do want a Rocket solo series a little bit, and I ain't gonna hold you. But Morgan for Static, man, but that David F. Walker though, man, for hardware, that's I can't think of nobody else.
Right.
I can't think of nobody.
It's my one trap card where, like, if you give me one good run, I'd be like, I'll never ask DC for anything ever again. Like, I'll never like you give me that, I'll walk off into the sunset. I don't care.
I'm with you. I'm buying every single issue. I'm buying variant covers, and damn it, when they have a hardcover, because damn it, I want a hardcover. I'm buying a hardcover too. So. It is what it is.
Because what person would be better to talk about a educated black man who's been wronged by his boss than David, who has been wronged by the system that he developed, who talks about technology, talks about the innovation, but he had everything taken from him. Who would do it better than David? And it would be the greatest allegory ever.
Crazy. Dang, man, that's crazy. So. Next top 5 comic book stories, no matter which company.
If we're going top 5, like straight up, like I will say that like the original OG 50 hardware is definitely up there, because I've been rereading that has definitely meant a lot to me. In terms of like big two swinging, like holy crap, I want to say Infinite Crisis will always be up there for me as just this showed that too much nostalgia is a bad thing.
Mhm.
And yet, despite Jeff Johns walking in the room and telling everybody that truth, they still ain't listen. And it makes me mad. Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire is a better Watchmen than Watchmen, and not enough people have read it, and it makes me mad.
Educate me. Educate me.
So, like, Black Hammer it does the same concept as like Watchmen, where it's supposed to be this like hero allegory where you have like different like versions of characters and whatnot. Like there's a mix of Captain America and Wildcat. There's a mix of like there's a different version of Billy Batson, but it's a little girl. Like
Yeah.
there's all the like because like a perfect example of how it takes the tropes of different superheroes and makes you introspectively look at them is imagine like the little girl on the front cover is imagine like Shazam, but the difference is when she transforms, she goes from a whole ass adult to a small child with superpowers. And even when and then it gets to a point where once she's trapped in this small town, she's forever a little girl despite being an old woman.
Oh wow.
And she has to cope with that trauma. Or like imagine a superhero like Adam Strange, and you have this like the character reaching for the hammer, where he forever was trapped in his space adventures and could never get out of them. Or like someone like dude in the back of the shirt, he's like very much a Captain America allegory, or like but like he survived the war and the world outgrew him, so like he never fully understands why the world outgrew him and he's trying to cope with that. It's this amazing narrative about how like genuinely superheroes are so trapped in these archetypes that they can never fully escape, and we keep playing at them as if they never can grow, they never can change. Well, what if change is forced upon them? And I love this story to death, and more people need to read this damn book.
You know what? I'm putting that on the list and putting on the list. You know, what's funny about it? What's funny about it is that Black Hammer is on the list. And I forgot
Like
the name of
I don't buy library editions a lot. I'll be the like the one library edition I own is Black Hammer, because this like this don't even fit my bookcase because it's so big. Like
Yeah.
this book, like I'll even tell you, this story means so much to me that when I had my old show Panel to Panel, they did a spin-off book called Barbalian Red Planet. It was like because one of the main characters of the book, who's on the cover, is Barbalian. He's basically just like a Martian Manhunter, but just like the Martians were just warriors. They weren't like super strong in a bunch of different ways. Didn't have like psychic abilities and stuff like that. Like he still has like shape shifting and whatnot, but his powers are limited compared to Martian Manhunter. And the twist of the story is that he's gay, and the story that you read in Barbalian Red Planet is like he is there during the AIDS crisis. So he's having to be in disguise and like be amongst these individuals and whatnot. And I got to interview the co-writer of the book, who like Tate Bromble. He wrote Everything Dead and Dying last year. He's writing the Batgirl book right now. He sat down with me for the interview, and there's this beautiful cover, like this variant cover of the first issue, where it's a AIDS memorial variant. And it means so much to me that because my uncle passed away to HIV, and I'm named after him because of that reason. And that cover is so beautiful, and it was done by Phil Jimenez. And when you look at that cover, it very much is a beautiful representation of that era. And Tate mailed it to me and like signed it to me and my uncle, and I was like, now you've made me a devout fan for the rest of my goddamn life. So like when he wrote Everything Dead and Dying last year, I was like, this book goes hard. And if anybody says shit about it, you go out the hands of the me. And like that's just how it be. Or like perfect example. Have you read Something's Killing the Children yet?
I bought the first issue 2 days ago.
Nice, because they just have the 10th printing, yeah. There's a spin-off book called House of Slaughter. In the first volume of that, there's a character named Jace Bouchard. He or Jace Busher is how it's pronounced, like when not in the French. He is one of the children killers that is as part of the organization. He is brought in from the Butcher clan because his entire family was wiped out, but his family was brought into the Butcher clan originally because as slaves, and like back during that like slavery times, and like all he ever knew growing up, even after slavery was outlawed, was the clan. So when his entire family was wiped out by monsters and the House of Slaughter recruited him, he blamed the headmaster of the House of Slaughter for his family dying as if it was deliberate. So a number of years ago, I had Chris Sheehan, the author of the book, do a commission, not the author, the writer, the artist of the book, because Tate wrote that as well. He drew me a commission of Jace's knife, and I just got that tattooed to my arm.
Oh man, okay.
And when you, it is very rare that you get an authentic Black queer character in a book like Jace, where he's just authentically Black. He fights for his culture, but he's also a queer character who's in love, and he genuinely said, "I'm gonna give up the love of my life to go fight for my family," and that meant something to me. So I straight up said, "You know what?" Because I interviewed Tate again when that book was coming out. I was like, "Do you think the artist would draw that for me?" He was like, "You could ask," and Chris was more than happy to. And I even sent Chris a message like last week when I got it done and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I asked you to do this for me," and he was like, "That is beautiful, thank you." So like, I'm so excited for Corpse Tour next week with James Tynion IV, because I get to show him this and be like, "Look what your series did for me." Like, you didn't write the main book, like that book. You gave it to Tate, but you creating that universe gave me this, and I will always thank you for that. And that's why I always tell people comic books ain't no joke.
No, it's not. And you know what's crazy about it is that some people don't realize that have not been in the comic book world for quite some time. There are books that are going to hit you. You know what I mean? It's going to like stick with you. It don't necessarily have to be in a bad way or traumatizing way. It's just some stories that's out there. And there's also people that have the preconceived notion that comic books are just cape shit. And it's not. Like, because there's some, or like, well, we still get the same stories over and over and over again. I'm like,
oh yeah, no. One of my favorite books to tell people for any Black fans, specifically Black male fans who are like tired of cape shit, Excellence by Carrie Randolph and Brandon Thomas.
On the list.
This book right here. It is what if Harry Potter was Black and it was the Illuminati? And it is the ultimate like introspection into Black fatherhood and being a child of a Black father. It genuinely hits you in the feels. And it deals with toxic Black masculinity. It talks about how we as young Black men are having like the entire culture thrust upon us by our fathers. And it really hits you in the feels and makes you really take a look into yourself and really like figure things out. Or I tell people all the time, the king of horror when it comes to Black comic books is Philadelphia by Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes is the king of horror right now. Like his book Crowdsville that just came out is so good. But Philadelphia specifically, if you bring me a Black male fan who's who's just tired of cape shit, I will hand them the first issue of Philadelphia and I will tell them, if you don't hear Yo Daddy's voice in that last page of the first issue, you ain't Black enough. And when you read that first page, and like that last page, and you hear what dude says, and you're just like, I have to read all of this now because you just brought my father into this book, and you're just like, Okay.
Hold
So
up.
it's like, well, I have a lot of great recommendations for folks who are just tired of the big two. And I'm not saying the big two are bad. The big two is my favorite characters of all time. But like my entire top 10 is just all straight like heroes from the big two. But
Yeah.
there are some characters, like I will always say that Bitterroot by David F. Walker, Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green is my favorite comic book of all time because it removed me from the big two and gave me a story that I needed in that era. So like
Yeah.
there's better books out there besides just Cape shit.
Yeah. Hey, hold those books up one more time because I like that excellence cover though. That's a
Ooh,
hardback.
bro, this was the hardcover. You had to get this from the Kickstarter. This was a beauty right here. I think you can still get it in some places. I can look for you, but this book right here, man.
Please, because that book one hardcover is fire.
They end on a cliffhanger. I'm still mad. Brandon Thomas, if you hear this shit, I want more. Damn it, it makes me mad. Like it makes me mad that I never got more. Like because it ends in such a way where it's just like these dudes could have genuinely just kept going. They could have been telling more stories, giving us more. And man, like Carrie Randolph definitely goes up there as one of my favorite artists of all time as well. Because the way he gives you almost black anime in the best way possible. It almost looks like some Boondocks level shit where you're like, this is a black anime right here. I really like this.
Vibing. And for people that like want to get back into comics, we're gonna always recommend like indie titles just to let you know, like things have evolved exponentially. I mean, there's Flawed, there's Philadelphia, there's Excellence, like you said. Bitterroot for sure. Shout out to Tuskegee Airs because I met them at MomoCon back in like 2016.
Hell, if you want Black Cape shit, Concrete Comics is putting out great books like Acolyte. They just had a Kickstarter for their book Soul. Like, legitimately, there are great books that you can read right now that aren't the big two that you can be supporting right now. Yeah, Midnight Comics is putting out great stuff. Shout out to Tashi. She's on my podcast. Like, they're putting out great work.
And matter of fact, Tashi, she's going to be on a guest on the show on the 24th.
Nice.
Yeah, because she ended up following me too, which came from the Willing Creature controversy, and I think that's how we end up like following each other. But she was talking about the Gray because she put a picture of like the Gray because somebody was asking, "Hey, if you got your own comic book, post it." And I immediately went to Global Comics and I saw it, and then I read it. I'm like, dang, 6 pages. I know this is a tease. I know this is what I know this is a tease. So, and there's other independent comic book publishers out there too, like Ignition Press with Roots of Madness and stuff.
Man,
bro, let me tell you. So, my fiance, where we are polar opposites, is that I'm an anime watcher. She's not. I'm a comic book reader. She's not. Until one day. She met Stephanie. And that's the day I had my Static. I had Mr. Terrific, and Dennis Cowan was present. I introduced her to Stephanie, and Stephanie was telling her about Numia and Amazons. And she had Nubia and Amazon. She gave it to my fiance. She gave her a milestone book, which the cover I was really looking for, but she gave it to my fiance. I was low key jealous. Either way, but she got it, and we were just sitting in the bed, and she cracked open Nubia, and then she was reading through it, and she was like, "Oh, like that." You know how something just catch you, and she just like make a verbal reaction. I was like, "Oh, what happened?" And she was telling me what happened, and in my mind, I was like, "Got your ass."
I just dropped something in the chat for you. Give Her Newbie a Real One by L.L. McKinney. They released a young adult graphic novel about Nubia right around the same time that Steph was putting her book out. And like Elle definitely cares just as much about Nubia as Stephanie does. And that's the thing too. People like to say that representation don't matter, that representation like is irrelevant, but they just don't know because, and it kind of goes back to the whole thing with DC So White, where me and Joseph talked about this, where there's this dilution in white fans where when you boot up a game of Dark Souls or like any RPG, you start with a cisgendered heterosexual white male. That is the default of society that we have been told to imprint on no matter what. And there is something that hits a little different when you see yourself on a page, when you see yourself out there. And like Black fans can lie and say that they don't feel like that, but like that they can enjoy all stories. And true, like any story can be great. There, like some of my favorite stories are from white characters, from white stories. Like I can definitely admit that. But at the same time, there's something that hits a little different when you see yourself on the page. Like Method Man even talked about it in the Milestone documentary, where there just hits something a little different when you see yourself on the page, especially when it felt like for years all we were was caricatures and tokens waiting to get spent. So it hits a little different. And especially when it comes to Black women, where Black women are so either like you have Storm or nothing else. And for so long, where DC's never had an ongoing for a Black woman. Marvel got lucky with Storm, where like Stan got that hook really early on, and then Claremont capitalized on it and stuff like that. And then like the fans just were drawn to her because of Halle Berry. Like they got lucky with that. But like even then, Monica Rambeau was only made Captain Marvel because they were going to lose the trademark. Like that was only like. Is she still the first ever female Black Captain Marvel? Yes, but it's only by circumstance, and it sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like we still struggle when it comes to that. So the idea that your fiance finally got to connect through Stephanie is a beautiful thing, because for so long Black women didn't have shit, and it sucks.
Yeah. Very, very much so, man. And I gave her my first issue of Roots of Madness, because I got it from Edition Press. And because at the time, which was a couple weekends ago, Stephanie was there, and obviously they knew each other. And she was like, man, I ran out of issue number 1. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got it right here. Because Stephanie signed issue number 1, and I gave it to my fiance, and she ended up getting issue number 2. She reads issue number 2 on the plane ride home. And because, we long distance. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to need that issue number 3 and 4.
You need to get her that cover D variant cover off the Ignition Press website. That really sexy cover D they got. That's only exclusive to the website. That shit is sexy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to get that. I'm gonna need to get that. And so, but she put it on Threads, and I was like, don't worry about it. Daddy's on the job. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You got 3 issues on the way, and she got them because I video called her, and she was holding them up like a deck of cards. She was like, I got them. I said, okay. I'm just thankful that you're in it now, and you asking for more, because she wants Nubia Queen of the Amazon. She wants that. Like she specifically asked me for that. She was like,
oh yeah, because it's a continuation from the last 6 issue mini she got. So of course she gonna want more.
Yeah, she was like, can I get that Queen of the Amazon and just send it to your house? Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Don't worry about it. I got you. So, I was not as successful with anime, and anime is a tricky thing. So. I always encourage somebody, like, never let One Piece be your introduction.
Oh no!
Don't do that.
No.
like don't do that.
That's a dangerous thing right there.
Very, very. So, but the fact that she's nerding out on comic books and reading something that just reflects on her, somebody that looks like her, and it resonates with her, and she got Bitterroot too, because she met Sanford. And like I know Sanford like personally, because he's like here in like Columbia. Man. So she met Chuck.
I need to talk to him, man.
And he be so busy, man. And she met Chuck Brown, because Chuck Brown was at this convention too, and he had the Bitterroot hardcover. So I bought that for her, and I bought Flawed for her too, like the trade paperback, right?
Yeah.
And so she bring about Sanford. Sanford draws inside of it, close the book, and he was like, I bet Erskine don't have it. I was like, no, I don't. I got
man, it's crazy too, because like there's this sketch that Sanford did of like OG Blade from Tomb of Dracula on it, that was on his website.
Yeah.
If I had one chance to get anything from Sanford, I would like just redraw Tomb of Dracula 10's cover in your style.
Yeah.
I will put it up. I will frame it. I will never. It will be my version of Tomb of Dracula 10, and I will never buy that expensive ass Silver Age book. It will be my one grail that I have for myself. Like, if I could trade a Tomb of Dracula 10 for a Sanford Green homage cover, Ain't
Easy trade.
even a question.
Easy trade. And this man drew Berg in it. Like he like the outline of his face. And he like, yeah, Erskine don't have this.
My favorite like thing that he does is he'll just post that picture of Berg sipping his tea on a thread, and I'm like,
yeah, it's always in response to something crazy, and I was like, yeah. Or when Ernie has the card when issuing it out. So but yeah, man, Jay, man, it's been a pleasure, brother, because I know it's a lot of things we can talk about, man.
Oh, we can go for a while.
We can go for a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you was able to come visit the show, man. And listen, I'm available too. I'll come on.
Hey man, we'll have to get on here soon because we gotta have this summit. Like I like doing these multiple type things. I'm trying to figure out. I might just like launch a freaking like Friday show and like because like we might just retool Comics Unmasked to where like Sunday is only comics and like Friday is comic news. I gotta like think on it, but like. Because apparently some people were really liking the live stream because we goofed last Sunday and like just had a live on accident and people liked it. And I'm like, well,
yeah, I saw that. You were like, wait, we live?
Yeah. So like because I linked my Riverside to my YouTube to do that live stream we did on Friday. So when I hit the record button, it went live on accident. And I was like, screw it, let's do it. And then it worked out. So like people seem to be receptive to it. So I'm digging it.
So Ernie said something like the first time all of y'all linked up. And like y'all call yourself the Court of Owls, but Ernie said the Court of Negrows. And I was like,
man, see, here's what's annoying. Here's what's annoying. The group chat is called the Crew because I wanted to like pay respects to Priest and Coates. But then the more I look at it, like we because it's just Kaori's the one woman in the chat. It's pretty much just the power company at this point. But then I think about it, like apparently somebody, I think it was Shine's dork ass, called us the council or something like that, or someone called us the council. I don't know who, but like power company mixed with the Crew sounds like the council, and I really dig that. But then like the Court of Negroes kills me, bro. Oh my god! Especially if you look at that new Batman, absolute Batman cover from this week. The owls are black. I'm like, god damn it! Started a thing. Yeah, started a thing. I'm
trademark
right now, like I'm about to message Ernie right now. Really, Negroes? Really? Like
trademark right there, like really? Trademark. Go ahead and trademark that.
Negroes. That's what I'm literally typing in the chat right now. Like Negroes.
Man, I was rolling, man. I was rolling when he's up. Like, man, that's actually got a nice ring to it. It has a nice ring to it. It really does, man. But yeah, man, I'm glad you were able to come by, man, and talk shop, man. Talk about hashtag DC So White, man. It's definitely being successful. It's definitely getting out there. People have heard it, and it is definitely spreading. And to the watchers, the links for Comics Unmasked and Jpenumbra is in the description below. So if you want to check out his page, you might want to go check out those pages.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
You know what I'm saying? Because he dropped some good heat too. He dropped some good heat too, man. There's a movement going on, and you want to be a part of it. So you got anything else for the listeners out there, Jpenumbra? You got other recommendations?
Honestly, man, like I just at the end of the day, I want to encourage people. I'm gonna take a note from my man B-Rex. I appreciate what more people read, and we need to be reading more as a group. And I genuinely need more people to, like, whether it be Cape Shit, whether it be one of the books we recommended, don't be afraid to pick up some new stuff and enjoy like the culture. Don't feel like you need to be confined just to Marvel and DC, because you might find your favorite book if you step outside the bounds.
Yes, absolutely. Always encourage to read. And hold on, I'm gonna type something. So for what I saying, yes, go out here and read. I know there's some YouTube channels that like spoon feed you like all the information, and confessedly enough, I did start out that way, but I stopped because I'm like, you know what? I give you a little bit of that sauce. I was like, I skipped out a lot of key issues in this book. So I want you to go to your LCS and go check that stuff out. You know what I mean? So So many people going back in the comic book store. So many people that look like us that's in the comic book stores. And it is crazy. I love that movement for us, man. You got, raise your literary prowess.
There's a line that Eddie Griffin said in one of his specials one time that has always stuck with me, is that reading is fundamental. Fun to mental.
Yes, absolutely, man. So see you guys next time. Be sure to tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday morning. Comics, I will be available live, man. Two Top Shop with you guys. And what recommendations? But currently, I am reading Mr. Miracle, Source of Freedom. So that might be the main thing I'll be talking about on Saturday. Nice. And that is Jprenumbra's recommendation. And
yeah,
good stuff, man. So until next time, y'all. Peace.